I'm Steve Howard. I'm the engineer here at Station 34.
I'm Nick Kuhn. I'm the firefighter at Station 34.
This is our heavy rescue. We go on confirmed multifamily and commercial structure fires, and then any technical stuff, so structural collapse, heavy extrication, trench rescue, confined space. Well, here's the driver's seat. I usually hop in here and everybody else gets on the other side. That's our backup camera. It's just like a normal truck, automatic. All of our light switches are up top. We got an air horn and a siren.
200 West Stern Parkway, Unit 621. Battalion.
So this is engineer's compartment. We got an air pack in here. So every morning we'll check this, put our mask up to it, and then our mask stays on the truck. So when we get a call tagged to their heavy, then we'll grab our stuff, all of our structural stuff off there. Come on to here no matter what the call is. Drive to the call and then get there. And if we need air pack tools, it's kind of forcible entry, overhaul.
All right, in this compartment we got Paratex for structural collapse, so we can build quick spot shores, header and soles, and then all the Paratex different sizes in here. And down here we got ratchet straps, so we can use these Paratex for vehicle stabilization. We can hook them together and use the straps that do that. We got feet and chain in here, same deal, all for this Paratech and for stabilization. We got pickets, so we can drive into soft ground with it. We got pneumatic pumps to push the Paratex up, and ladders up top, just extendable ladders.
8163 East.
Yeah, we can pull it all. All right, in this compartment, just like the compartment before, we had Paratex. These Paratex are made so we can use it for one, stabilization, but mostly for trench rescue. So up here we have a bunch of extensions. We have 24-inch extensions, 6 inches. We have small shores, and then so we showed some shores up there, and then here we have 12-inch extensions and the big shores. So when we do something with these, let's say for trench rescue, we'd put panels down into the trench. We'd take these shores, put them horizontally across from panel to panel, and then we'd shoot air into them, pressurize it, and lock it. And this makes a temporary shore for us to be able to get down into that trench and rescue whoever's down there. So we have two trays of Paratex. We have everything we need for these. So we have feet that are horizontal. We have swivel and stable feet on that. We have a bunch of trays for that. And then we got all of our hoses and regulators that we use to make that work. Cord rail is just an electric box. You can use the power takeoff off the rescue, and it just gives us power. So we can hook lights, tools, whatever we need to the box, and then stretch it however far we need to. It has 200 feet of it. So just like most of our frontline suppression apparatus, our towers and our engines, the rescue, when we go to fires, we usually burn through a couple of bottles of air. And so throughout this whole thing, we have air bottles. So we call them torpedo tubes. So these will slide in and they travel with us. And then when we're ready to use them, we just open it up and pull the bottle. And this is fresh, ready to go. So it's a full bottle that we can use whenever we need it. We use these both for our air, for breathing, as well as a lot of pneumatic tools on here, like palm nailers and such. So we use these to power that as well.
Here we got our row compartment. So we try to kind of block this out so we're not having to go through like a door over there, a door over here, a door on the other side if we get a specific call. So we were kind of generalized to one area. We got what we call our main bags, main and belay, here, and then our ropes in that other compartment next to it. But if we need to do an elevator rescue or off the building, pick off, like Castle Rock, or if we had to go up to Red Rocks area of West Metro, any kind of repelling type of stuff. We've got a vortex here that we can set up. It's basically a high point you can make. And then just a whole bunch of rope. Main stuff that we use is about 200 feet. And then the stuff up top, 600. And then some edge grow. And this one just kind of complements the one we just went over. But here's our main and belay rope bags. These are all of our harnesses. We got 4 of them. Victim harness. We got to get down and put somebody in it. Just some various, get some extra rope and then some other utility stuff and some edge rope.
So like I showed you earlier, we had the torpedo tubes with air bottles. As well on this rig, if we're on a prolonged incident and we got to use through a lot of air, we can fill air bottles with this. So right here we just plug air bottles in, fills them up top, so we have almost an unlimited supply of air. We also have more air bottles, just like the tubes I showed you. We got 10 of them here that we can also burn through, as well as this cord reel hose, so we can use this on space or confined space. If we're going into a manhole we can't necessarily fit with our packs, regulators, everything on. And so what we'll do is we'll attach this almost directly into our regulator, and we can go down that hole and go as far as we can with this hose needed. We also have more of this loose hose up top, which we'll cover later. This is comms. So this is part of our comm space communication system. We use we just went to this new system that has rope and communications combined, so we can tie into a headset, and then it has fiber optic communication lines inside of a life safety rope. So that rope is also rated to the same amount as our normal rescue rope, 40 kilonewtons, so we can actually hang off of that as well as talk through it. So it's a new system that we just got, and these are built for that, and that we can use the rope and talk. It's kind of cool. So in this compartment, I was just talking about our comm system. So this is the rope communication. So this, like we saw earlier, it's just normal rope, but inside of it has communication lines. So we can use these to talk to each other, hard lined in. In here are our harnesses for comm space. So if we need to go down a hole, we'll most likely get lowered, and we'll be in that harness and then being lowered down on it. This is our comm space cart. So it's essentially an air cart, like we've seen a lot of these air bottles. So we have 2 air bottles here. The hoses connect into these fittings, and then this will just be portable. So if we're too far away from the rescue to use the air off the rescue, we can take that cart with us, and we'll have the air connected there. We also have a bunch of hand tools here, so bolt cutters, sledgehammers, flathead axes, pry bars, everything you need to break into something, we got it. So the back compartment here, it's a really long, full compartment. This is mostly our structure collapse and trench here. So what we do is we have a bunch of lumber. Some of it's already pre-cut, so we can have gusset plates and sole plates built for building spot shores in a quick scenario. A few months ago, we had a car that went through a garage into a second house. We use all this lumber, and we build temporary shores to hold that house up. We got pads for trench rescue. If we're around the lip of a trench, we need the pads to disperse weight so we don't fall in. We also have 4 trench panels, 2 on each side. And so these strong backs will set on the wall of a trench, and then use the Paratex we talked about earlier to press that together and pressurize the wall so it doesn't fall in on us. We have a Stokes Basket, which we use for lifting patients who are critically injured. We usually use them either in a low angle rope rescue or a high angle rope rescue. A couple of other things, just kind of miscellaneous. We have a dog snare. We have to do an animal rescue. A lot of just miscellaneous fire tools. So we got New York hooks, Colorado hooks. We have saw horses. So if we need to set up a cut station when we're doing a structure collapse scenario or incident, we can cut all of our lumber on saw horses or a cut table. Makes it much more efficient. So down here, we have this bar as well as a bar on the front of the rescue. We use this mostly as an anchor. And so if we're doing a rope scenario, let's say, down in West Douglas where we need an anchor and we don't necessarily have one close by, we can use the rescue as our rope anchor. And this thing is bulletproof. We can attach a ton of weight and rappel, lift, whatever we need off of something like this. Yeah. So behind the anchor that we just showed you, we have a cable winch here, and we can use this to haul or lift. We have a bunch of specs on there. It's 12,000 pounds rated, so we can pull a lot of weight with it. And so it's just hooked up. We lower this down, hook it up to whatever we need, and pull it right out. Look at the boxes up top. So up on top here, we also have 4 more compartments. We call these coffin boxes. So we'll just start and work our way up. We have more rope comms, so we were showing kind of that confined space communications. So this is the end of it. So it's like I said, right, a life safety rope. Inside we can plug our comms into, talk through it. We have 4 of these big bags, and just like that red line that was in that earlier compartment, it's just air. So if we use that air cart and need to move somewhere portable, we can take these big bags with hose and carry them, and it'll play out as we move down the hole. All right. So in this compartment, we got a couple of things. We were showing you earlier that red line. So these are those confined space air hoses. We got red and blue, so we can designate between which rescuer. So each rescuer will be designated a color. That's a way for us to know who's what and who's moving on the line. We also have screw jacks here. So this is just like for our trench rescue, we have the Paratex, but if the Paratex don't fit in, we can actually use a 4x4 in here, screw this out, and pressurize a trench panel with. We also have a sump pump and hose that we can attach to, so if we have a flooded basement or we're doing overall and a lot of water has been in a building, we can use the sump pump and pump water out. This compartment, we got medium pressure airbags. We can use these for a couple of things. We can use them for lifting one. We can also use them for shoring in sloughed off walls of a trench panel. We got shovels, we'll use for digging victims or something out of a trench. Air pressure regulator monitors for those medium pressure airbags, and tarps. So a lot of overhaul, or if we're doing an operation in dirt, we have a lot of tools on here that don't necessarily work well if they're covered in dirt. So we'll put tarps down, set all of our stuff on to keep it all nice and clean. All right, in this compartment, kind of miscellaneous tools as well. If we're doing an extended operation, we had a bunch of that 4x4 and wood in there. We can actually cut shims and wedges with these pre-rigged jigs. We got nails, more nails. We have a Stokes wheel, so we can attach a Stokes basket to this wheel if we're in an off-road situation and actually roll them out on this big, kind of a unicycle looking thing. More wedge jigs. We have a chop saw, a small air compressor, and then a longboard. So we'll actually use this in confined space. If we're going down a long tube that's maybe too small to walk or crawl in, we'll lay down on the longboard and roll down the tube. The last few features we got on the rescue here is we have a light tower. So this boom will actually pick up, extend, and we can light any scene we need. We got some pretty powerful lights there that will make it look like daylight even in the middle of the night. And then finally, we have our cascade system. So I talked about the filling station we have down in one of those compartments. These air bottles will actually be pressurized, charged up to have enough air that when we do fill those bottles, we have a supply that will fill multiple bottles at the time. So this is just a cascade system where we store the air, as well as more lights, some chalk plugs for gas lines. So we talked about earlier structure collapse. This is another one of our structure collapse components here in this compartment. We have petrogen on the rescue here. So what petrogen is a gasoline and oxygen mixture. It's forced through at pressure, creates a mist, lights on fire, and can cut anything from steel rebar to steel I-beams. It'll cut through almost an inch of steel, just like butter. We got a big tank here, as well as a backpack tank for portables. So if we need to crawl through or crawl up on top of rubble piles or anything to cut metal, we can use this backpack one and carry it with us. Up top, it's just everything we need. So we have the steel braided hose and for the gasoline and a green hose for oxygen, as well as the cutting tips. So this is something this is what it would look like. So you got oxygen coming in here, gasoline coming in here, and then fire essentially coming out at a high speed, and we can cut through metal with it.
We talked about earlier about doing heavy extrication. We have the capability to stabilize with Paratex heavier equipment. This is basically just a little heavier duty than what we have on our truck. We have a power unit, cutter spreaders, rams. We've got some hoses to hook that up. We're very fortunate here that we have full macho with battery capabilities. It lasts just as long to do an extrication as anything on the market. They're a little heavy, but they're really fast, very durable. So probably referred to as the jaws of life. These they are when we do tours and stuff, but this is our spreader. So if you think of it as like a reverse scissors, you put that into a door and then it opens up, and all you're trying to do is get a purchase point so you can put your cutters in there and we just cut through nader pins or hinges, that type of stuff, just get the doorway or cutting the roof off the car. Then we got some miscellaneous stuff. So this will cut your steering wheel if you needed to, and then peeking and prying. We got some step chocks up here that we can throw to help stabilize before we get cutting. This right here is a Matra power cord, so if in case the batteries go dead, we can plug this into the cord reel and plug it right into here, and it'll just run forever. Then we have some DeWalt miscellaneous tools with sawzalls, extra rams on here, different sizes. This compartment here, kind of more structural collapse. We use it for overhaul too, if we needed to. But we got a backpack carrier for our bottle. If we want it, we can hook it into here and kind of carry it around. Nick was talking about palm nailers. We've got pneumatic nailers. We have one, this black box has a battery operated one that we use too. So when we show up on scene, we'll throw a Paratech real quick, just so it's structurally sound, and if we got to do a rescue or something like that, we can get in there real quick and still be somewhat safe. And then afterwards, we'll short the building up with some lumber. We got a bunch of cribbing up here, so if we need to lift something either with airbags that we'll talk about here in a little bit, or anytime we use a Paratex, we always want to capture so we don't drop something on somebody. Kind of lift an inch, crib an inch type of deal. This little crate here, we just got, talking about those palm nailers. We got those that'll hook into an air hose, run off the bottle. And then we just got a bunch of nails. Nails and some wedges in case we need them. And then this whole bottom shelf kind of complements the one we were just talking about. So We got some more nails here. This is one of our smaller tool belts. We've got 4 of them on here, 2 small ones, 2 bigger ones. But we got a speed square in there, chalk, a bunch of pencils, tape measure. So if we're out there, you can throw that on and start measuring and doing your stuff and just radio back so we're not making all these trips. Got a couple saws for cutting. This just has miscellaneous hand tools in it. It's got hammers and more speed squares and all sorts of stuff. Up top, actually we'll just lower this one down. We've got the sked and then the halfback. So that's for if somebody either fell in a hole or we needed to pick them up out of a hole or use a rope system, something like that, or we had to go into a confined space and pull somebody out. We can put them on that. It's kind of like a mini backboard with a harness. Then we grab the victim bag and kind of wrap them all up so we're not getting any further hurt. Thank you. This one's just got more tools. We got some rebar here for structural collapse, nailing it to the building. A couple hammer drills. This is an angle drill. This is another powered sawzall. We got some ram set nails and everything in here, and then our actual ram set, and then a little giant up top. Another grinder. Alright, this compartment's got some more random miscellaneous stuff. But up until a few weeks ago, we had Rescue 42s on here, and now we're fortunate enough to get more Paratechs. Anytime, like let's say somebody's stuck in that car and we got to do extrications to cut them out. Anytime we start manipulating that car, it starts doing funky things. So we want to make sure that's stable. So, a car that's on its wheels, we can just throw some step chocks like we were talking about, take some air out of the tires, and you're probably good to go. If it's on its side or on its roof, they tend to wobble and spin a lot. So we'll take one side or the other and start stabilizing it and kind of all tie it together. And that way we can work on it safely. Up top we got another cord reel. It's the same as the mirror image to the other side. We got another sawzall, all of our saws. So if we got to do, like I was saying, we go with multifamily and commercial structure fires, confirmed. So in case we need to do any kind of breaching or vertical vent, hopefully. Nick and I can hop up there. All of us can do it on that one. So we got a chainsaw, just like we do on the truck. Just a normal chainsaw, cuts wood right through here. And then two K-saws. And then a concrete chainsaw as well. We can hook water to and structural collapse, kind of breach through something. Got some extra blades, fuel tank, and then this is just kind of our bin that we keep extra fuel, ear protection, some miscellaneous tools in case these don't work. Some more pickets, just a toolbox, a bunch of random like normal tools you'd have in your garage. This is our, just call it our Rescue 42 bag, so I guess we'll have to call it our Paratech bag on this one now. But this is a strap that we can use, some other cluster hooks we need to connect to the bottom of a car. And that's what we would use when we tie into these Paratechs or your Rescue 42s. Belt tied to the car.
Alright, on the last compartment of this side, it's kind of our miscellaneous compartment. We got a bunch of stuff in here. Up top, we have a cable for our grip hoist here, so we can haul or lower anything about 8,000 pounds with this will pull. So our cable's there. We have a search camera, which is actually Bluetooth. We have a tablet. We can lower the search camera into a space It has a speaker, a light, microphone, so we can talk and they can hear us, or they could talk and we can hear them if someone's down inside of a collapsed structure. We have Paratech hydrofusions here. So like we've been showing you with all the Paratechs that we have, these hydrofusions actually have a built-in lifting system. And so what we can do is use the pumps and these hoses, and it will pump and lift with that hydrofusion, and then we can use the same collar as I was showing you to lock it off, and it's just one system. We don't have a bunch of tool or pieces going on with it. It's just a single flawless system. Rope bag. So if we go on any confirmed commercial or multifamily, we have a search rope here, so we'll carry it with us and search a large area. We know where we're coming out. A RIP pack. This is kind of for us if one of the firefighter goes down. This has an extra air bottle, another mask, stuff that we're going to be using to get one of our own out. Man versus machine. You can use this to basically get rings off. If someone's stuck in something metal, we got a little Dremel tool that we can cut stuff off with. Tripod winch. We have a tripod up top. We actually use it mostly for confined space. We'll put the tripod up and the winch will lower a cable. We can put someone down the hole and lift them up easy with a tripod winch. We talked about the grip hoist. We also have pneumatic air as well as bottle jacks. So we have a couple here and some more back here. Using to lift. Once again, a lot of the stuff we do is lifting, braking, breaching. So everything you see down there is for lifting, as well as our airbags. So we have a bunch of different sizes of airbags, and anywhere from 20 to 73 tons we can lift using that. And that's the last compartment here. We talked about R1. Steve-O showed you his air pack. On this side we just have some kind of forcible entry stuff here. If we're going into a multi-family with lots of doors that we got to break into, we can use the rabbit tool here to break stuff open. More Halligans, axe, hooks, and a water can. So we only have one door on this side, but we got 4 seats back here. As you can see, you got 2 air packs up front for backwards facing, 2 air packs this way for the guys facing forward. Things we'd have in here, we got a lot of guidebooks. If we're going to be doing structure collapse, throwing shores, we have books for different ways to build shoring. We have rope rigging guides. Everything you would see in a normal frontline apparatus is actually here. We have a nice rescue suit. We have medical kits. So if we're coming home from a rescue call and someone in the community needs a medical call, we'll actually respond on the rescue with the med kits. The final door on this is we're the officer, the boss, so we have lieutenants and captains here at South Metro. Just like every frontline apparatus, your engines and trucks, just got a normal seat for the officer, as well as an MDT, so we can see and read notes on the calls coming in. It'll map us to where we need to go. Push to talk and head can, so we can talk to MECOM or dispatch on the way up. Lights, radios, everything you need, even a speedometer so you can keep an eye on Steve when we're driving. Just like in the back, we have another winch here. Same specs, 12,000 pounds. We can lift with it, as well as another anchor bar. So if we can use the front or the back as an anchor and lifting points.
Bid 1, unconscious party, map page W29C at Phillips 66, 90.